Hey, what's up, guys? It's Powerbang here, and I just got my Valkyries maxed out, and I've been raiding a little bit up in Masters 2 League and having a lot of fun, as you can see here. But this video is going to be about the recent update that Supercell just put out for Clash of Clans. I'm going to tell you all about what was in the update and what is kind of behind the scenes in the update and what that's going to mean for this game moving forward. So we'll start out with some administrative changes that took place over this last couple days. The first of the major changes that took place is a one-time player name change. This is something that many of us in the community have known about for quite a long time. Rumors have been circulating in the forums, etc. But players can now choose to change their name. Now, this is a good and a bad thing. It's going to be great for the majority of the people. Where it's going to be bad are for clans that have like a ban list, or folks that they don't wish to have back in the clan. Those people can now change their names to something different, circumvent that ban list at least for one time before making their way back in. But for the most part, if you picked a really stupid name when you were just starting out, or entered in just some random letters or something thinking that you could change it later to something more appropriate, you were mistaken. Now you can finally change it to something that you want. The next change that's kind of administrative in nature are the defensive range and modes for different defensive buildings can now be viewed and changed while the building is under construction. Now I'll show you that in just a minute. With my air sweeper that's currently under construction, I'll be able to demonstrate both the range of the air sweeper, and I can change the direction in which it's facing, all while it's under construction. The next administrative change has to do with matchmaking for Clan Wars. Currently, in the past, the system had been set up to wait a certain amount of time. It was widely believed to be around 10 minutes, and have a very narrow range of clans that it's searching for in hopes of making the best matchup for your clan. After that 10 minutes, the requirements would start to relax, and eventually you would get matched up with more of a loose set of requirements, and that could result in a mismatch, and that you could be in favor there and have a much stronger clan than your opponent, or you could be on the short end of the stick and be greatly outmatched. So we talked a little bit about the one-time player name change, and to do that, obviously we're talking about the name in your profile. Mine is Powerbang. You now see below each person's name is a unique identifier with the pound sign and then 92 whatever. Every player has a unique identifier, so when their name changes, that number will not change. So you'll be able to identify players that you might have kicked out of a clan. You'll be able to identify them by their unique identifier. But to change your name, just go to the little cog wheel on the bottom for settings, and then you can see in the top right hand corner it says you can change name. You would just enter your new name here, click continue, but you notice the big red warning there. You can only change it one time, so that change is final, and be careful before you set your name. I'm good with Powerbang, so I'm going to leave it how it is. We also talked about the defensive range and modes can be viewed and changed while the building is under construction. So if you look at my air sweeper, it's currently under construction. You'll notice the range is highlighted in red, which means that it is no longer active while this unit is under construction. But if we zoom in, click the unit, you can see the range, and then I can also modify its setting while it's under construction. So, pretty straightforward, nothing too fancy there, but it was a needed change that allows me to also manipulate my expos, and if I was a Town Hall 10, I could set my Infernos from single to multi. The next change that we were talking about was the clan war matchmaking. No way to really prove anything there, but we did search for a while for our clan. It waited for a bit, and it seemed like we got a pretty fair matchup. We have 5 Town Hall 10s. They ended up having 7. They had a little bit more Town Hall 8s than we do. So overall, it seemed to be fairly even. No big deal there. So let's take a look at some of the other changes that came out with this update. Along with the administrative changes this update, we have some game mechanics changes. Some of these are major, some are minor. First, we have the attacking troops will not chase defending troops as far across the map. What this means is the troops that you have that you're sending into the base things like the enemy heroes and the enemy traps and the enemy clan castle troops, those have to be a lot closer in proximity now to your attacking troops for them to actually lock on and to engage those defensive troops. This is going to be, potentially a game changer when it comes to certain things like taking out the queen and also taking out the clan castle while you're penetrating into the base. The next thing is there's an army preview and an auto surrender feature now for Clan Wars. And what this is when you go to click attack on a certain base, it's now going to put up a prompt, and it's going to give you a preview of your army. It's going to show you your army composition, it's going to show you your spells, it's going to show you your heroes, and it's going to basically highlight in red anything that is not complete or if you're missing anything out of your army composition. Once you say OK and attack, you're sent in to the base and you're engaged now, and if you click the surrender button, you will lose the attack. This is going to be helpful for making sure that you don't forget spells, which we're all prone to do at times, and then also it's going to have a little bit more of an in-depth effect that I'll talk about here shortly. There's also the introduction of a new defense building called the Air Sweeper. I've got a video dedicated just to the Air Sweeper. You can find that in the description. But in case you missed that, let's go ahead and cover a few of the statistics of this Air Sweeper. Now, the Air Sweeper is a new defensive building. It targets air troops only and has a very significant range. It's between 1 and 15 tiles, and it's often referred to as the Air Mortar. The reason they didn't go with that name is because I assume it's because this unit does not do damage to opposing troops. It only gives a knockback effect that sends them back a certain number of tiles depending on the level of the unit. You'll see on the table here that the maximum level Air Sweeper is 3.6 tile knockback. That's quite a significant knockback. That's going to be almost the width of a laboratory, which is quite a bit of effect on those troops. And then if you need information on the the number of hit points, gold cost, build time, XP gain, etc., check this table. Hit pause on the video and give that a look. Let's go ahead and take a look at one of these bad boys in action. I've got a little clip from one of the farming raids from one of our guys earlier. So take a look at the middle of this base. You'll see the Air Sweeper there, and it's got the nozzle pointed to the right-hand side of the base. OLJ is going to go ahead and send some balloons in and some minions behind, just a typical spam-style balloon in attack. He rages them in. Check out the wave from that Air Sweeper, hitting those balloons and minions, knocking them back. You see the effect that it has. It's only a level 1 sweeper, so it doesn't have a huge impact, but at the same time, there is an effect there that you're going to have to think about when you're planning your raids. Now, there are some more behind-the-scenes changes that have happened in this past update, the first of which has been some matchmaking adjustments that have been made in the regular multiplayer attacks. Now, these are the attacks that you do just in your normal farming raids when you go out and click the attack button. You're going to start seeing more players at or near your town hall level across all leagues, with the exception of the Champions League. Every league now has the matchmaking tweaked, and now me as a Town Hall 9, I'm more likely to see Town Hall 9 bases, whether I drop down in trophies or if I push up in trophies. Now, there's pros and cons to this. This is designed to help the lower level players, the guys that are Town Hall 5, Town Hall 6, and they're down in Bronze League. And then you've got the really strong Town Hall 9 and 10 guys that are down there just, making life difficult on them and trying to hide, essentially. So it's going to keep those Town Hall 5s and 6 from appearing on the matchmaking for those stronger bases, and vice versa. The very strong bases are not going to appear as often on those lower level guys' bases. So that's one way that this is going to affect your matchmaking going forward. The next way is like when I'm pushing, I'm not pushing per se right now, but I am using some real armies, trying to get some practice, and I'm up in the Masters 2, Masters 1 leagues, and I'm noticing as I push up that the opponents that I'm being offered, I am seeing a lot more Town Hall 9s than I used to up in like Masters 2. But those Town Hall 9s are only offering me like 7, 8, 9 trophies, and they're in leagues that are, far below mine. Masters 3, anywhere in that range, and that's making life difficult because you're seeing more Town Hall snipes, and you're losing cups a little bit more easily. So if you're pushing, this could be, good and bad news, because you're going to be able to find more bases to hit when you push, but you're also going to be able to lose trophies a lot more easily because people are able to find you, and you're a very beatable opponent now as well. So there's that. For loot, when you're pushing up, now that you're able to beat a lot more of these bases that you're seeing, you might be able to do a little bit better on the farming. So farming should be up across the board. The next big change is that heroes and walls are now accounted for in clan war matchmaking. This means that the level of your heroes and your walls is now factored into the algorithm that's going to match you with your opponent. This is going to prevent those people that have skipped, building some defenses and have focused only on their offensive troops and their heroes and building up their walls, in order to kind of game the matchmaking system into giving them weaker opponents that they can, a lot more easily beat, and at the same time defend pretty easily against them because they have super high level heroes and walls. Things are going to change for you guys now. So I have some ideas on how this is going to influence the game moving forward, so let's talk about that now. So what do all these changes that I've talked about so far in this video mean? The biggest impact that I see from this update, and that a lot of serious clan war players are very happy about, is the impact that this update will have on the modding community. Those are the folks that essentially cheat their way to knowing where everything's at in Clan Wars and can practice their attacks before they actually use a real one in order to score as high as they possibly can. Modding has essentially been rendered ineffective, at least for now. Obviously, the hacking community and the modding community, it's a very proactive environment in which they're always trying to crack the code. And unfortunately, as a developer, you're always reactive because you're trying to react to the exploits that people are introducing on the market. So for now, modding is rendered ineffective. From what my sources tell me, I understand that modders can still do a sandbox-style attack, but they're not going to be able to see the trap locations or clan castle troops pop out. So that kind of, if you have a well-designed base, that's going to make it kind of pointless to do these attacks, because if the Teslas aren't popping up or the giant bombs aren't detonating, it makes it, very, very questionable. You're going to soak up that first attack no matter what on your base in order to see where everything's at. Now, what happens from that point, it's going to probably be just like normal. They're going to understand where things are and know how to, hit you a little bit better. But if Teslas aren't popping, that can affect the pathing of your troops. And if they're not seeing the clan castle competition, that's going to work in your favor. So the biggest impact is to the modding, and that has been rendered ineffective for now. Next, the walls and heroes being used in the matchmaking is possibly going to render the Town Hall 8.5 and Town Hall 9.5 fads that you've seen lately obsolete. What I mean by that is a lot of folks have chosen to upgrade their Town Hall in order to access an additional spell, better spells, better troops, and additional troops. So you're essentially focusing on your offense, leveling up all your troop levels, leveling up your spells, building additional army camps so you can have that extra troop space, and then focusing on offense on tougher bases, while on defense presenting yourself as basically the Town Hall previous to the one that you've upgraded to. Now that the heroes and the walls count for something in the matchmaking, this is going to kind of be a little bit more iffy of a strategy. I could see in the future people kind of taking a 0.25 approach, if you will. Now, if we think about Town Hall 9.25, what I mean by that is 9.25. We're going to ignore the heroes and ignore the walls. In addition to ignoring defense, we're not going to upgrade any of that stuff, and we're only going to focus on our troop levels, are, basically the lab, the spell factory, and the army camps. We're going to leave the walls and the heroes alone along with the defenses, and that is something I could see happening in order to try to further game the matchmaking system and, kind of work it going forward. What I have seen from those Town Hall 9.5s that, were kind of career 9.5s, a lot of those guys now have Infernos building on their base. So they've kind of thrown in the towel, so to speak, at the Town Hall 9 level, and they have now decided to upgrade their defenses to the Town Hall 10 level. So we'll see how it, affects this moving forward. Let's talk about a couple more impacts that this update's going to have to the game. Some other observations that I had about this update, I feel like the clan castle luring is going to become even more crucial. It remains to be seen if taking out clan castle troops with no lure is still going to be a possibility or have any sort of effectiveness. The attacks that I'm talking about are like a Shattered Laloon, where you enter the base with 2 golems, funnel with some wizards on the outside, get your heroes into the compartment that you're trying to get at. Typically you're attacking a couple air defenses and a queen, and then as the clan castle comes out, your heroes, like your king and queen, are responsible for taking those clan castle troops out. With the new AI and the fact that the queen is sitting back far enough from those clan castle troops, that king and those golems may be destroyed and taken out completely before that queen ever figures out to start shooting at them. So luring that clan castle in advance of your attack and taking them out like usual is going to play an even more important role than it has in the past, because it's going to limit the effective options that you're going to have to take it out. This might also force more lightning spells in your troop compositions. Secondly here, spam style air attacks may be extremely difficult to pull off. The Pentalaloon, the Quattrolaloons that we've seen in the past, where we basically lure the clan castle if we can with loons, and then take those out with our heroes. What we're counting on is the lava pups from our lava hounds blowing up. We're counting on those to take out the queen. And with the way the new AI works, it's very, very difficult for those pups to lock onto the queen, because they explode quite a bit away from where she's actually positioned. And then by the time they lock on, if they're close enough to actually do so, they're also close enough to her to be first in her range, and she quickly takes them out. So it's been a lot more difficult to kill the queen with lava pups, so that may be difficult moving forward, in addition to the fact that we have these new air sweepers out there, and it's really slowing up these spam style attacks. From taking out the key buildings like air defenses, inferno towers, etc. It's taking a lot more time to take those buildings out, and it's really affecting the potential for these spam style attacks to be successful. Another thing that we have to look at are the dragon attacks at Town Hall 7 and Town Hall 8. It's going to be a lot more difficult with the introduction of the air sweeper, but I think as long as you plan your attacks well and start to enter the bases from the backside of the air sweeper where it doesn't have as much of an effect, I think you're going to be just fine. That being said, I believe that all attacks, air, ground, or otherwise, are still going to be viable. There's just going to need to be some more thought placed into where you enter the base from and how you're attacking it, which angles you're taking, etc. The air sweeper is going to allow defenders to force the attackers to enter the base at more specific areas, and this is going to allow them, especially via the air, to trap them more efficiently and to blow up those hounds a lot quicker than you'd really like them to be on offense. So doubling up traps and air mines on air defenses that are going to be targeted by the air troops coming in is going to be a very effective way to defend your base. So the last feature that I wanted to kind of touch on here, again, is more of an administrative feature. I just kind of wanted to show it to you. It's the search clans feature. You can kind of search whoever you want, but the neat part now is that you can bookmark clans. You can actually go through, bookmark whatever clans you want. I do some bouncing around, and I also track a lot of the top clans in the game, and see how we're comparing to those clans. So it's very, very cool. You can add whoever you want, up to 30 clans. All you have to do is go ahead, click the clan. It takes you straight to their profile. Very cool feature. I use it a lot. It may not be for everybody, but at the same time, this is a really cool addition. And for those of us that bounce around and kind of pay attention to what's going on in the community, this is an awesome update. So for now, guys, that's going to be it. Hopefully you have learned some things about this update that may have not been readily apparent. I've tried to go into some of the behind-the-scenes stuff that could affect the game in more ways than might be obvious to meets the eye. But we'll see how it goes. I'm going to reserve judgment and hopefully get some more experience under our belt, experience a few clan wars, see how things, flesh out in actual war. And when I have some, tangible results, I'm going to report those to you on this channel. So for now, this is Powerbang. I'm signing out. I'll catch you next time with some more Clash of Clans.